grateful to God.
Yes.
Another day, another year, new season, new opportunities, new frontiers. I'm really, I went to bed just listening to songs of gratitude, just thanking God, woke up with the same mood. Grateful for life. God has really been faithful every year.
What are your plans for today?
Told us already.
Truthfully,
it does not include us.
It's just work. I have a feeling that I'll do, me and my family, we'll just maybe in the evening, but I have a lot of work on my table today that I need to do for school. I need to knock off, but I will be having a very busy weekend, and I don't have any plan in terms of party. I'm not a party person, so I don't celebrate my parties, birthdays anyway. Even when I'm 40. Yeah, so count down to when I'm 40.
40 houses.
Yes. When I'm 40, then we'll do a ceremony.
Yes.
Yeah. But for now, I'm truly just grateful to God and enjoying all the love and attention I'm getting.
And weight loss is showing in your face.
Yeah,
you look really
6
slim.
kg down. I checked the weight yesterday. I'm telling you.
Wow. Fantastic. Well done.
We're on track.
You look really slimmer, and
Yeah. I'm feeling myself too.
That's good.
Thank you.
Enjoy it.
Heidi, Mariam.
I'm doing fine, amazing, well, apart from the headache I'm nursing from lack of sleep. But I get today being your birthday. Happy birthday, Topper. I wish you the very best of this year and many years to come.
Amen. Thank you.
Hello, Happy birthday to Topper. Yes, I saw the pictures yesterday and I was just taking my mind back to how I know she started from her journey being a model to, doing her makeup, being a guru in the makeup. She would do a lot of jobs back to back, and all of a sudden, okay, it's not makeup anymore. I found a new passion and the drive with which she uses to do her thing. I was just grateful. And in my meditation this morning, I just lifted you up. God will keep shining His mercy. The universe will keep shining His mercy upon you. Whatever you lay your hands, you will prosper. You work hard. You deserve to play hard. So when you're saying you're not a passive person, I'm just looking at you.
I'm a flexing person.
Yes.
Soft life.
Soft life.
Not on chop.
Happy birthday, darling.
Let me pray for you.
Yeah.
Mommy Gio.
Dr. Topper Makodi.
Yes.
So today, the Lord will lift you up,
Amen.
Bless you,
Amen.
guide you, make you rich, wealthy, and fulfilled, and He'll help you to be a blessing to your generation. Because He came in contact with you.
Amen.
Happy birthday, darling. God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm the banter for today.
Yes. All right, so let's go on a quick break. When we return, we go through the front pages of the paper. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're going to start with the nation. APC chairman to aggrieved lawmakers, hold your fire. Live telecast motion for hearing Thursday. Wike Makinde others Sean Parley with Atiku PDP leaders. Free Kanu as parting gift, Ohaneze tells Buhari. President Tinubu others celebrate Fashion at 97. 75,000 inmates feed with 22.4 billion naira annually, says federal government. non-oil export proceeds to attract rebate, says CBN. Okay, which story are we starting with? Do I do the major headline?
Go ahead.
So aggrieved aspirants of the APC, those who are hoping to become Senate President, were responded to by the Chairman National of the APC, Chairman Abdullahi Adamu yesterday. He urged them to hold their fire. All of them were angry about the formula being proposed by the party. We promised them that the party leaders will take another look at the matter after consultation with the president-elect once he returns from his trip that he recently went on. They said that the decision that was made was not final, that they understand that maybe wide consultations wasn't carried out across all the various stakeholders. However, he's ensuring them that they will return, once the president-elect returns, they will reconsider, and that they will consult with the president-elect when he returns from his working trip in Europe, and revisit the decision that was made concerning the zoning of the Senate presidency and other principal officers. Okay.
Okay, so Nnamdi worldwide yesterday urged President Muhammadu Buhari to free the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu. The President General, Chief Emmanuel Iwanyanwu, was urging the president, who he described as an Igbo son, and says he's an honorary Ohaneze member and he should ensure that Nnamdi Kanu is released before May 29th as a gift to the Southeast. So he said this during there was an event that happened. I think there was a presentation that happened when he said this. I'm trying to get that presentation, but finally he was saying that over 60 million Igbos are requesting that Nnamdi Kanu be released, and this is more like an appeal that they should not be afraid that Igbos are seceding. They are not seceding. They have businesses all over the country. Nobody's going anywhere, but they need him to be released. That they have seen everything that President Muhammadu Buhari has done for the Igbo people in the Southeast. That initially when he got into power, they were not happy, but just before he's about to leave, they've seen a lot of improvements in some parts of the Southeast, and so they are excited about it, and they are appealing as a son of Igbo land that he is, because he's been given some honorary chieftaincy titles. They are appealing to him that he should release Nnamdi Kanu as a gift to the Southeast.
I have the federal government. So yesterday, the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Interior, Shaib Belgore, was explaining that the government plans to spend 22.4 billion naira to feed 75,507 inmates across 24 custodial centers. And he gave us also a breakdown. He says we have 75,507 inmates, 244 custodial centers across the country, and that there's been a steady rise in the population of inmates, so far, and 80% of them are awaiting trial. Out of these 75,000 plus, 73,000 over are men. I thought that was huge.
They're waiting trial, meaning that they could.
So we have over 52,000, about over 52,000 awaiting trial. A little over 23,000 are convicted, and 3,000 and above are waiting, have been on death row. So he just explained, the Minister of Interior also explained that yes, we have overcrowded facilities, especially in the urban areas. So we have like Lagos, Abuja, and state capitals. But then in areas that are not so urban, you don't have this overcrowding. And he's hoping, that we'll see improvement in the correctional service and criminal justice.
I'll take the PDP story. So yesterday, the People's Democratic Party tried to hold a post-election reconciliation meeting. There hasn't been any meeting for the PDP since the election, and the PDP Governors Forum chairman, that's Governor Aminu Tambuwa, had called the G5 governors with the hope of bringing the G5 governors and Atiku and Okuwa to mend fences. But Governor Wike, Makinde, ASUU, Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi of Enugu State, all the G5 governors declined to show up, and they didn't send a a representative. So obviously, the conversation was that the plan to reconcile the party failed, which is so sad. We're going to watch how it goes. Maybe after they've shared all the portfolio. To main defenses.
The Punch. National Assembly leadership, APC moves to pacify aggrieved aspirants. Customs sees sack of military uniforms. Lagos, naked man found dead in car.
Wow.
FG sends foodstuff to Sudan for stranded Nigerians. Fashion marks 97th birthday, laments Nigeria's woes. Buhari Osinbajo governors get 651 million naira hardship allowance. Atiku relieves PDP's glorious days, says party moving backwards. And debt servicing hits $112 million monthly, says CBN. Okay, which story are we starting with?
The human interest story.
Yes,
so residents and passengers around Isheri Olowura Road, Ojedubega in Lagos, woke up on Thursday to behold a strange scene in the neighborhood. They said the corpse of a yet to be identified man was seen. Yes, just close to us here, was found in the car in the neighborhood, and said his head was the victim, the driver's seat, while his body was stretched to the passenger seat. His clothes were littered all over the car, but there was no sign of struggle on his body, so it couldn't have been a fight. Yes, they don't know what happened. Some residents said he's a stranger in the environment, but he looks familiar. They've seen him a few times. They know the face. But he's been taken to the mortuary. The police hasn't responded to questions on what could have happened. So probably investigations. We don't have names. Nobody.
Sad story.
Yeah. So I have the picture story. Customs. So Customs is saying the Nigerian Customs Service Federal Operations Unit Zombi Kaduna said it intercepted a sack of military uniforms and others with a duty paid value of 628 million in 1 month. He says the operatives, while on a stop and search operation, intercepted a vehicle that was being driven by a Nigerian. During the operation, they observed like a bag at the back, and when they opened it, they had all sorts of assorted military camouflage shirts, trousers, t-shirts were found, and this person was coming from Niger Republic and said that he was going to deliver it to some person in Katsina State. Anyways, the uniforms were counted to be 22 pairs of foreign tactical military camouflage shirts and trousers, another 25 pieces of military camouflage t-shirts he added. Anyway, they have handed over to Directorate of that's DSS for further investigation and prosecution, and so many other things that they have intercepted in the course of this 1 month. Marijuana, opium, with street value of about 31 million naira. What are we looking for? These drug addicts and drug pushers. Anyway, they've been doing a lot of work in this 1 month.
Okay, the National Emergency Management Agency have said they've sent foodstuff to Nigerians in Sudan while they are waiting to be airlifted, according to them, to cater for the stranded Nigerians that are waiting airlift in Port Sudan back in that war-torn area. According to them, they didn't want them to be stranded, so they sent them bags of rice, 10 kg, 100 bags of 10 kg rice, 50 bags of beans, 10 cartons of seasoning, 50 cartons of spaghetti, and 5 bags of salt. According to the Director General of NEMA, Habib Ahmed, who was saying that it was meant to cater for Nigerian citizens while they are waiting to be airlifted. He confirmed, however, that 2,246 Nigerians have successfully been airlifted back to Nigeria, but they're still using only 12 flights. So they're hoping that they can get more partners to get more flights to airlift Nigerians away from that war-torn area. So that's pretty much the story. Okay.
The story about our president, Muhammadu Buhari and Osinbajo getting hardship allowance. From the way the Punch carried it, that the NLC is complaining that Nigerians have suffered a lot of hardship, and over the past 8 months, that within the last 8 months period, the president has earned 14.08 million naira as hardship allowance. The hardship allowance is supposed to be 50% of their annual salary. And the vice president, Osinbajo, has earned 12.16 million as that's over 8 years, sorry. Over the period of 8 years, they've gotten that as hardship allowance. They also broke down the one for the state governors and their deputy governors. And the national treasurer of the Nigerian Labour Congress, Hakeem Ambali, said that the outgoing regime had inflicted heavy hardship on Nigerians, and that even the 40% increase that they pay rise they've given to federal government workers that will take effect from January isn't, it's already eroded by the inflation of the past few years. And so he said many workers have been laid off, listing a lot of the problems. And in his statement, the minister of Labour is saying that we're in a general economic crisis, and that is not, the issues are not peculiar to Nigeria alone. And the fact that workers are demanding for more wages is not a problem that Nigeria is going through alone, but that's the...
Okay, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue with our review. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Your View will be right back.
Right Honorable Ahmed Idris Wasi, CEO and Deputy Speaker, House of Representatives and Member-elect, 10th Assembly cordially invite all members-elect and other stakeholders to the official declaration for speakership and unveiling of 16 years legislative track record and 10th Assembly agenda. Date, Friday 12th May 2020.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move weigh in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
Others, Tinubu INEC to reply article, and it will be over the request for live broadcast of tribunal's proceedings. Imo APC chieftain killed by gunmen. Oshimbajo flags off Oguta Lake Orashi River dredging project in Imo with hope of economic boom. Court delivers judgment in federal government suits against ASUU on May 30th. It's time for stock taking actually. Atiku tells PDP governors. Court reinstates Ebonyi, Deputy Speaker, 8 others, lawmakers. Okay. Which story are we starting with in Daily Sun?
The chieftain of the All Progressive Congress, APC, in Imo State, and Oru East Council chairman of the Bola Ahmed Tinubu Shetima presidential campaign, Captain Anthony Enoch, was on Tuesday shot dead by gunmen and his body dumped inside the boot of his car. According to the story, they said he was attacked by gunmen while on his way back from Owerri after attending the party stakeholder meeting at Omoma, the headquarters of Oru East Council. A source spoke to the papers and said that he was shot around Awomama Technical School while returning to Owerri from the APC stakeholders meeting held in Omoma. And it seems like it's been, a lot of them have been afraid to go for such meetings because they're always afraid that they will be attacked by hoodlums. And so this is, you know, something that has become like one too many. And after shooting him, they just dumped his dead body in the boot of his vehicle.
Okay, another story in Daviston. So, just very quickly, ASUU, the court, Justice Benedict Kanu had said that they will deliver the judgment on ASUU by May 30th. According to him, the judgment in the suit filed by the federal government dragging ASUU to court will be delivered May 30th. People are looking forward to that because this has been going on, and I know Mr. Femi Falana is the lawyer for ASUU, and they've been, and he has actually informed the court to file a notice of appeal before the court of appeal, and he said that he's contesting the ruling of the court of March 28th, which ruled that the Minister of Labour, that's Chris Ngige, had the power to refer the matter to the National Industrial Court. So this was dragged to the appeal court, and then we're going to be getting the ruling by May 30. Many people are really quite concerned about ASUU and the federal government because of this back and forth that's been going on for a while. So hopefully they can get this case on. Okay, which
the Abuja division of the Federal High Court has reinstated 9 members of the Ebonyi State House of Assembly whose seats were unconstitutionally and illegally declared vacant. The lawmakers were Ngozi Iziolu, Oliver Osi, Odafe, Aleke, Umoke, Chidi, and let me not spoil all the names. Justice Ian Rukwa mentioned that the Speaker of the State Assembly has no constitutional powers to declare any seat vacant, and that these people were elected March 2019. They have a 4-year tenure. INEC is not meant to do any by-elections to refill that position because their mandate is still their mandate, and that every salary owed from last year, which is from February 2022, when that decision was made, should be given back to all of the Deputy Speaker and the 8 other Ebonyi State House of Assembly members, and we're hoping that justice gets served. The court also put a well, I don't know, it's just a bit weird that we always have to go to court to get to know what the right thing to do and what is wrong to do in the
Nobody wants to do it. Thank God that we have the courts.
Exactly.
Vanguard Northern Senators threatening revolt over zoning template. Awujale at 89, your epitome of good character and integrity, says Obasanjo, Tinubu, and Abiodun. Presidential poll, court adjourns Atiku's petition till May 18th. Our expel suspended members acting APC script, says LP. Particulars of Kogi Bayelsa Imo governor candidates out today. FG votes 2.4 billion naira for Moshood Abiola Stadium High Performance Center. 1 shot dead, others injured as Amotekun traders clash in Ekiti. Angola overtakes Nigeria as top African crude oil producer. Detention, I fear Kanu may die in DSS custody, says Ozekome. And the military onslaught, panic as fleeing terrorists approach Vanguard. Okay. Which story?
Let me start. So this one we got when we received the papers online. It's health section. I didn't find it on the front page. But it's saying that there's a growing concern among consumers of fruits and vegetables in Benue State because of the discovery that sellers are using some chemicals to ripen these fruits and vegetables so that they can make quick sales, of course, and make profit. They're using what they believe to be calcium carbide, and I quickly checked it up. It's used in manufacturing industries for steel manufacturing and metal cutting. That's what it's used for. It's very dangerous to our health, and yet fruits and vegetable sellers, some of them are using this to ripen, the fruits. For some people, you would notice that you buy fruits from the market. You get home, it looks ripe, but when you get home, it just does not taste ripe. So that's what's happening. And the All Farmers Association of Nigeria, the chairman says that they've been speaking to the farmers and the sellers and warning them about doing this and that is illegal. And really, if they understand the impact this has on people, you would think that there will be common sense. Will tell you not to do something like that. But I guess greed plays a major part in market. So the government needs to keep an eye and also make sure they prosecute.
It's just ignorance sometimes. You just feel like, oh, the helps is ripe. Just you don't even think of the impact of it. You just keep doing it. So Angola, according to the monthly oil market report that is provided by OPEC, it's showing that Angola has surpassed Nigeria as emerged the topmost crude oil producer in Africa. According to this report, Nigeria's, if you recall, we used to be we used to produce 1.2 million barrels per day. That was our own record. But according to this report, it has dropped below a million, about 999.999. We've dropped below a million, and because of that, Angola, who is producing about 1.1, have now surpassed Nigeria. I know that when Dangote return starts, hopefully we'll be able to surpass that again. But this is just an interim report by OPEC saying Angola has passed us. Their year-on-year output, Nigeria's output level, dropped by 16% in April 2023 from 1.2 to less than 1 million barrels per day. And we'll see how
apart from because we have the theft that's going on in that industry as well.
So I want to celebrate the president-elect is celebrating the Oba of my side of town, Awujale. The president-elect Ashwani Bola Ahmed Tinubu is congratulating the Awujale paramount ruler of Ijebu land, Oba Sikiru, as an Ijebu girl. Oba Sikiru Kayode Adetono on the occasion of his 89th birthday. He recounted how the Oba supported progressive in the dark times when there was nothing on ground. He also applauded his ability to his courage, his candor, his principles, and his stand on national issues, how he takes care of the welfare of people, not just people of Ijebu-Ode, which is his core area, but also the entire Ijebu land. And he also applauded the fact that the Oba had refused to compromise himself for pecuniary gains, and a whole lot, like a really detailed segment with a picture of both of them together. I just want to celebrate the Awujale of Ijebuland on his birthday as well, which was 2 days ago.
Happy boy day.
Okay, I'm thinking of having a party for Momo. This is 98 this year. Wow. So when she hits 100, I think we need to
No, you don't
celebrate today.
98 will be celebrated.
Yeah.
99 is celebrated.
I think we should celebrate.
Yes.
100, 100. No.
Today is a gift that she is.
We celebrate every day that
exactly.
Okay, we'll think about that. The Nigerian Tribune. Opposition may have its ways, Yari warns. FG to spend 22.4 billion on feeding 75,000 inmates. Pengerson attacks 50 federal government over the 77 trillion naira public debt, says it's calamity of highest proportion. LP factions fight over Tinubu swearing in. Amotekun traders clash in Ekiti. NSCDC to repatriate 25 trafficked children from Kaduna to Kogi. And G5 governors, Fayose, Mimiko, others absent at PDP's governors forum reception. Which story we haven't taken?
He said kidnappers attacked a car dealer, shot his son, and abducted his daughter, who is then writing the May-June senior secondary school examinations. So the attack on the car dealer, they have not been able to ascertain his name, first of all, happened along NDDC Road, Saple, local government area of Delta State. According to the report, said the car dealer was on his way home at about 7 p.m. when the kidnappers laid ambush and swooped in on him. He said that as he sighted the hoodlums, he ran away, leaving his children in the car. And they were just abandoned to their fate. So one of them was kidnapped, the other one was shot, and they disappeared. So far, they've not gotten any news from the kidnappers. They've not been asking for any form of ransom. So people are saying that in that area, a lot of kidnapping usually would happen, and so they're asking relevant authorities to come in and probably make more roadblocks with security agencies on the roads there so that they can safeguard the people of Sapele town. The police is yet to respond to what has happened.
Okay, so in Kogi, very quickly, the governor was really interested in this case. So 25 children trafficked from Kaduna were actually returned. What happened was that they had seen a 13-year-old boy who was roaming the streets in Kogi State at odd hours, and then the matter was taken to the police command, the CD Hamad Gandhi was given this report. So this young boy was taken to the police, and then they investigated further and then realized that he was trafficked from Kaduna State down to Kogi, and they now led to the arrest of 22 other foster fathers who had brought in about 25 children from Kaduna. And Governor Yahya Bello had shown high level of interest in the matter and ensured that those kids were taken back home to their families. This is really, really sad. Trafficking is still ongoing, and you're taking children outside without the permission of their families, and you know
that usually happens. But I'm happy that the governor stepped up, and then we're seeing a chain of reaction in general people that are getting arrested.
Okay, that is all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back, it's Celebrity Friday. We have a celebrity in the building, but first our hot topics. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Gentlemen, make welcome pioneer Positive Force member, dancing queen of the 80s, non-conformist, Afrobeat historian in her right, and long-standing member of the multiple award-winning all-female show Your View, Omoyeni Yeni Anikulapo Kuti, aka YK Power. Ginger.
Take it.
Today we'll go here.
Hey, I didn't read you.
Are you sure?
I know. I'm not here to answer questions. I'm here to drink.
We're in trouble today.
Wait till your age.
I was close now.
I
said 1975.
He said 73. He said 75. Fellas wasn't even born in 75.
So will I drink half?
You go drink. Take. Make I help you. Russian.
No be half.
Which half? You will make me drink. I'll give you a hint.
Lights in no. Nepa Road. Nepa Road in Abeokuta.
First of all, my brain cannot memorize everything.
A big black bug.
A big black dog.
Bug. A big black bug.
Oh, sorry. A big.
It don't start.
Ọmọ ọmọ fẹlá ọmọ Anikulapo Kuti. Wọ́n rò pé kí ni kékeré yìí.
It's by Audison. It's not by Audison. Do you think you can outplay me in this game of wits and knowledge? Can you go 7 rounds without flinching? I meant answering 7 questions correctly. How well can you hold your liquor? If you're curious, then join us for the most exciting conversation and games with your favorite celebrities on 7 of 7. Ikechukwu Sunday Okonkwo, aka Cross. Now your intro without him.
Wow.
So there's a name that thing that's.
I'm just drinking because you say I should drink. There's no particular answer. You think it's only that can be wicked?
What's the answer?
Subterfuge.
Eh?
Yeah. They claim you did, but you said it just happened. That
And it's called what again?
Subterfuge.
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 So you look me finish from head to toe. You look at a person who go know what to be called subterfuge. Yeah?
The nude wasn't like a game plan. Or...
I promise you, it was actually.
Fact that they are away from their spouse, and when they eventually travel, they feel like they've become strangers. So maybe they were apart for 5 years while the other person is trying to settle down. Eventually, when they do move with them, there's a lot of culture change, there's a lot of adjusting that has to be done, and there are a lot of expectations. People find it difficult to reintegrate themselves or to reintegrate the love and their connection that they had when they were together, when they do finally come together abroad. This is our new reality. As much as we like to pretend it's not happening, every single person you know has somebody that recently relocated or is struggling or is starting over somewhere else or have left everything they're doing here. They move. So it's our reality. We have loved ones and friends who are having these issues, and it's a conversation that is worth having at this time. You can call us on 081-270-53687, 091-390-76948. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweet. So based on this tweet, his own is about when you marry somebody that haven't really traveled before. The moment you travel, realities change, mentalities change, thinking changes, and there's a possibility that you might fall apart. That's one angle. The other angle is managing long distance disconnection and then eventually moving with the person and still struggling. Many people have found that they had to break up because they just realized that it's not working. Dynamics that started your relationship in Nigeria is totally different when you finally move abroad. I think one of our callers this week also alluded to that. So what are your thoughts on this change of environment, change of mentality, change of thinking, and adjusting to the new lifestyle when you leave Nigeria?
So I think exposure is a big deal. There are things that people will take that when they realize or they know more, they won't take it anymore. There are things that we see as normal here that are very abnormal in many societies. There are ways women are treated here that it doesn't happen in other places. So if someone has lived in Nigeria, like to a point, had relationships here, and they travel and they see the way other people cherish women, or they see the way another person opens the door, pulls out the chair, ask if they are okay, that exposure makes them question why are they not getting that same treatment. So if that's not their reality here in Nigeria, there might be pressure. I also feel that the tweet by the person is very simplistic, and that's not the reality on ground, but I don't know what his personal relationship or what he saw that made him put that comment. But I feel that human beings based on exposure change. The more I get exposed to knowledge, the more I read books, the more my thirst and quest for life changes, the more my confidence changes that I'm expected to be treated in a better way. And I think that is a good thing, not a bad thing. And the comment was sort of like connoting that it's a bad thing if they travel, they now come back and they're like expecting the relationship is over. No. They should ask for more, and if they deserve it, they should get it.
Let me come to you, Mary. Your thoughts. What exactly is more? I like what you said, but how do you think that changes when somebody travels and comes back or goes back and meets somebody? How does that affect the relationship?
I don't even know how that would affect the relationship, because personally, I would not see that affecting me in any way. But I have to say that I read some of the comments, and sometimes perspectives, it opens your mind up to possibilities. So one of the comments I read was that especially for girls, when you travel, by the time you come back, that there's this new look. You are now a jaded. Yeah, you're now, gendered or Yankee person. So now you're on a different level. And when you're now on a different level, this your local Nigerian guy is not it. So you come back maybe with an accent or two, and maybe you've met a few friends over there and they've come back to Nigeria with you. So maybe that is what people are talking about. That it opens that person up to new experiences, which is what Tope has said, opens you up to new experiences, maybe new friendships, and then you find that maybe what was common between you and your relationship before isn't there anymore. But I don't think just by going abroad, it's enough to just break a relationship. I think that sometimes when you are away, so now I'm going into that your long distance relationship thing as well. Sometimes when you're away from a situation, you have a better sense of what you're in, or a better sense of what you need from your partner. And I see that people, when they are in the relationship, you find outside people telling you some things that you don't see. You don't even understand what they're talking about. But then when you take a step back, you're like, oh, is this what people are saying? So I can see that happening, but that does not necessarily involve you having to travel out to do that.
Because I know a lot of people that watch movies, they have friends, and they feel like that in themselves. I know a few people that have never traveled, but they're more exposed than a lot of people that I know that travel, because they've been able to intentionally open their minds up. But what is it about this traveling that people feel like, I want to travel like this, so you are the changed person? Is it the air? Is it what exactly is it that makes us picture a totally different person once you leave Nigeria and come back?
I think sometimes when people are poor, they are not living their authentic life in a way that they have to make do with the relationship, or make do with the friendship, or make do with the environment, because that's all they have and that's all they can afford at the time. Now when they travel, it changes, because now they have an array of options. They now realize that this person's accent I no longer like, I've seen a better accent. This person, the way she dresses, I no longer like, I've seen a better person, and that changes. But I've seen people who they're used to that aspect of life. They don't break up their relationship because all of a sudden they travel. They travel all the time. So it's not like I'm going to become a new person if I now find myself in Japan. I'm a new person every day. As I wake up, I'm a new person. And so they go through life like that. But I've seen people who actually did enjoy distant relationship, and they dated for years before they finally got married, and nothing happened. As a matter of fact, there was a question we're asking ourselves, like, would you prefer that you have a husband who travels and comes back once in a while, and or would you prefer somebody who just stays home? Two of you see each other back to back every morning, every night, you quarrel and all of that. And some of the ladies I spoke to said they prefer the husband to be traveling and be coming, so that we see once in a while. That time, that period that we see, the love is sweet. I've missed you, you've missed me. There's no room to quarrel. And before it's time to start quarreling and start getting used to ourselves again, it's time for you to carry your bag and go back to work, and that relationship lasts. I had a family friend at the time in Alakoko whose husband never stayed here. I think he was offshore. So he would come once in 6 months, and the relationship would be sweet. He would buy all the goodies, and then before we say Jack, he has gone back to work. And they lived for years. The time the job stopped, that he stayed at home for 2 years. Some of them were like, you see this marriage, we can't do it. Carry your bag, I carry my bag. Like, they realized that they didn't really know each other that deeply. And it was now like we had to start learning and relearning. But they were able to still make it work, because of course it wasn't some very heavy problems. But there's something I want us to take out of this relationship, which is people have their different personality types. Some personality types want that close-knit, huggy kind of relationship. I see you, I breathe into your nose, you breathe into my nose. Some personality types need their space. And so if you have to do a long distance relationship, you need to ask yourself, am I the type that needs my space from time to time? If you actually do, your relationship will work and make sure your partner is on the same page with you. But if you're not that type, there's no point holding on to a distant relationship before you realize that somebody else is dating somebody, and we're just...
Okay, so I'm not going to break. There's a dynamic I wanted to add to this, because I think it was a caller during the week that said something about somebody coming in from Nigeria. The man was in the UK. He traveled to Nigeria to bring in a bride who came in, and then they later found out that I am better than this, you know, and they were having that fiction. They ended up parting ways, but these are some of the realities many of our people are facing at this time with this new jackpot dynamic. We need to really discuss it and unpack it properly. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Can you do this? No wahala. How about this?
Questions if I want to ask questions, and if it's something that I saw coming, I may not even ask questions. I may just I may even tell you I saw this.
What if it's in person? But then would it make a difference where? So like this person might just say you can just be on Third Mainland Bridge on a bike and the person say, babe, I cannot do it again, and you lose range. So what would change the scenario for, like, does it matter where? Do you want to have like a fancy dinner like the film you were mentioning?
No, like finding your beauty.
Or do you want to be on the street?
No, carry me go fancy dinner.
Or you might just they run for treadmill.
Or you not a joke.
Don't tell you lose for your web.
Now I don't turn attempted murder.
So which would it be? Because I'm like, in person you have the closure that you want and the few injuries.
Guys, that's one place. It could be inside the car. You can sit inside the car.
Why car? Why not bike?
Who will be driving?
Why bike?
Who will be driving at this point?
The car will be stationary.
Pray I'm not the one driving.
The car will be stationary.
Because I go master. You can't be telling me like me. I'm going to drive near water. You must consider.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw ether material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known, for when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail, or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table.
Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome pioneer Positive Force member, dancing queen of the 80s, non-conformist, Afrobeat historian in her right, and long-standing member of the multiple award-winning all-female show Your View, Omoyeni, Yeni, Anikulapo Kuti, aka YK Power! Ginger,
Take it.
Today we'll go here.
Hey, I don't read you.
Are you sure?
Ha. I'm not here to answer questions. I'm here to drink.
We're in trouble today.
Wait till your age.
I was close now.
I
said 1975.
He said 73. He said 75. Fellas wasn't even born in 75.
So will I drink half?
You go drink. Take. Make I help you. Russian.
Not be half.
Which half? You will make me drink. I'll give you a hint.
Lights in no. Nepa Road. Nepa Road in Abeokuta.
First of all, my brain cannot memorize everything.
A big black bug.
A big black dog.
Bug. A big black bug.
Oh, sorry. A big.
It don't start.
Ọmọ fella. Ọmọ Anikula Pokuti. Wọ́n rò pé kí ni kékeré yìí.
It's by Audison. It's not by Audison.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're expanding this conversation, especially because of those who have jackpot. And I'd like to open our phone lines to hear from Nigerians living abroad, because for those who are still lining up at the visa embassies or lining up to or filling forms online, it's important for us to have these conversations so that as you are moving with your family, you are discussing and you are evaluating all the various angles. You can call us on the numbers on your screen, 081-270-53687-09139-07694. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. We've heard stories of maybe when the woman comes over to the US or something, they go into nursing. I mean, there's a story where the woman demanded everything to bring her abroad, and then he made her study nursing, and nurses make a lot of money. And from her, he kept collecting her money. After a while, giving you my salary, and then they fell apart because the woman felt that, listen, I am the one making this money, you cannot be collecting my money. And the Niger thinking of, I have to give you half my salary or my entire salary, it's not going to work anymore because she has a bit of exposure now. She's talking to her friends, her other nursing friends in the hospital, and she's like, you can't be earning your salary and handing over to her husband. So the mindset changes. The same thing where you travel and you bring in somebody, and maybe in Nigeria she was a very, very obviously submissive person. And the moment she enters the US, after a while, the submission is still there, but she's somewhat adjusted because she's like, we both have to work. We're now having to, or maybe she came with the papers, for example, maybe you are still struggling. Those dynamics are constantly changing. And it's how do we ensure that homes don't continue to break apart when they relocate? That's a major conversation to have. And I don't know, I think we have a caller. Hassan, good morning, Hassan. Thanks for calling. You're live.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Is for both sides, the male and the female. Please, don't go for a fake man.
For a what?
Don't go for a fake woman.
What? Don't go for a kept man or a kept woman.
Whatsoever the case, I don't see any difference moving abroad. You are what you are.
Yeah.
If you are good, you are good. Yeah. You can decide to go to the moon. You are still deceptive.
True.
All this issue of moving abroad is that a lot of men don't even understand the lady they are moving with. All these black ladies, all these ladies that have the sign that they cannot live in any matrimony are the ones who are going for. If you go for a different woman, even if you relocate to the moon, it's simply the same, submissive and understanding.
Yep.
The same thing with the men, because you are better women here. There are some men that are also, by the time they relocate, they become something else, they are fake men. So go for a fake man, you as a woman, a man to go to should not go for a fake lady.
Thank you, Hassan. You know, I was going to say earlier, the dynamics we have here is different. Now, let me let you jump in.
So, you know, when you were saying don't go for fake manner, sometimes you cannot tell.
You never know.
And it's really about the dynamics. So you're here where largely culture encourages you to be submissive, and it's easy also to be submissive because this is the breadwinner of the house. He goes out, he makes the money, he brings it home, and he's taking care of the home, and that's fine. Then you find yourself that you have jackpot, and here you are, you're the one that can work, probably you have the papers, you're the one that's doing the nursing, spending the many hours at work and making the money. And now that you're making the money, the husband now feels, okay, what's my role here? The dynamics have changed. You're now the breadwinner of the home. Am I supposed to now be submissive to you? And the woman is saying, I'm not asking you to be submissive, but since I'm at work, you do the household chores. Now, don't allow me to go to work and come back. And that also can just bring, start off a whole lot of trouble. That story you said about the nurse, going abroad and giving her salaries to her husband. You see, that was such a huge trend at one point. It was a big story actually, that Nigerian men were thinking that the women were just waiting to get abroad so that they would leave their husbands and not contribute to their homes, until we now heard from the women where they say, will you take our money from us, and then when you take the money you would not even give me what I would need to even take care of my personal things, and those were things that caused problems. So at first it was this story of this Nigerian woman that I brought her here with all my money and all my papers. Look at what she's doing to me. She's calling the police on me. They will say here, women say, do you know what I've been through? Just because I wanted to show appreciation and be grateful eternally for bringing me here, but yet you've turned me into a slave. So you're so right about saying that now that this has become a regular thing that we're doing now, we must sit down and talk about how we are going to manage this new family, the possibilities in the change in dynamics, and how would we handle that? And if we're going abroad, is it just for the money? Or is it worth it to also, if it's going to be such a risk to our family, are we willing to say, you know what, I'd rather keep our family here, we'll work it out, or just going there, making the money and losing our family? Just like a conversation.
Let me take this call from Joseph. Joseph, are you there? Thanks for calling. Hello, Joseph, you're live. Go ahead, please.
Question, and I want to say here that guys are doing a very wonderful job.
Thank you, sir.
The first place, I must confirm that the initial agreement didn't go well.
Oh, Joseph, I really wanted to hear Joseph. Please, if you can try to call him back. So go ahead.
First, I'd like to quickly respond to what Hassan said. People change. There's nothing like fake. People change based on exposure. There are things that I did not know, but I now know. There are things that I did not even think I could do, but I cannot do. And changes happen. The fact that, and it doesn't mean that you're not submissive or respectful or you're not being kind or you are that transformed into a monster. It's just the reality of you now understand more about your rights and you can ask for more. Now, when we talk about the importance of this conversation, is that many people don't already within Nigeria have tough conversations. Many couples cannot discuss money. They cannot discuss the fact that I don't like the way you spend money. I don't like the way you shop. I don't like the way you keep buying these kind of things. We don't have that conversation. We don't talk about. Let's talk about food. We don't talk about that. Have you eaten or paid paper bills, that kind of things. We are talking about a country where if you don't pay bills, you might freeze to death. If you don't pay bills, your entire family might be thrown out of the house. The dynamics are far different from what is happening in Nigeria, and families must be ready. When people are traveling in terms of education, you go with 3 children, 4 children, and one person is in school. The person in the school is not allowed to work. Sometimes partner is not allowed to work. Some go with a quotation that means that you are only there to help with the children. You cannot do any job officially. That means the burden is now leaning on one person part-time. Maybe it's only the other that can work, and the woman is in school. And the man must prepare from Nigeria that while I'm in school for 2 years, for me to be able to finish work, I'm not able to work. will you be comfortable with the fact that you have been missing all the family bills?
Yeah.
I have that conversation before. You might not prepare for the entirety of it because you don't know what will hit you there. But if you've already had tough conversations here, the likelihood of marriage breaking up because of the pressure there. Pressure reveals content. And when you travel, you will be hit with different dimensions of pressure. And the things you don't know were inside you will come out.
Oh, fantastic. I think I like that. Let me take this call from Kelechi. Good morning, Kelechi. Are you there? You're live. Yes.
Good morning.
Morning.
Okay, can you hear me very well?
Very clearly. Go ahead, please.
Okay, I like this. I love this. I love the topic this morning. You see, my take. You see, marriage is a symbiotic union. Okay, and biology told us, like in this union, two of them, the two partners, they are symbiotic in oppression, symbiotic in everything. All right. Although biology didn't tell us, like in the case of a symbiotic animal, biology didn't tell us who is the head. But in relationship, the man is the head. And let me chip in there. This is said that I like what this is said. This is said that every day she wakes up new, and that is true. She discovers herself new every day. And what is the newness of? What is that newness in her? Sophie answered that question when she said that when I read books, mingle with people, not any kind of people, maybe brilliant minds, listen to good topics and all that, I tend to have better perspective about life.
Right.
Have better dreams and all that. And this is the realities. These are the realities of life.
Kelechi, we lost that. Let me. I'll come to you, BC, in a second. I joke around here that my husband cannot boil water to save his life. He can't. I've never seen my husband actually go to the kitchen and turn on the gas to do anything because he would never do it. And last year, my in-laws came around from the US, and I saw my brother-in-law bathing for the toddler, powdering her up, dressing her up, and I just kept looking at him like, hey, Brown can never. Brown is not that kind of person, and he has never done it. He has never pretended to be changing diapers or even find out where they are brushing their teeth. He doesn't care. And I'm thinking to myself, if both of us decide to jackpot, how would he survive? Sometimes when Brown is insisting that we're not going anywhere, it's not jackpot, and I'm thinking to myself, it's because you can't survive. Because if I want to insist on we are going to Canada, we're going to, and I insist on that, I know Brown would not survive, because the idea that he wakes up and he has to worry about, they didn't sweep the floor, the children's breakfast, who's going to pack the lunches, he can't. So the dynamics in Nigeria, and there are lots of men. So there are lots of men like that. So the dynamics in Nigeria is that if you can't do it, we can hire somebody to handle that. So that your breakfast is so there. When this our family now move to the US,
different ball game.
Who's going to be doing that? So these are the realities of my own dynamics, personal dynamics. These are jackpot things. Let us think about it twice.
And a lot of Africans are there. So what I see is you travel with an African mentality, and you refuse to adjust to the times and seasons when you find yourself there, and that is a problem. So you go here as an African man who has been catered to by his wife and probably the house helps, and instead of you to pick up yourself, you know that you can no longer afford to have a house help to pick up yourself and assist. You want to sit down there and act as I am the man of the house. When that woman wisens up, especially in that place, when they start mingling, they know that the laws are available to them. You now have a problem where African men are saying once you bring a Nigerian woman here, they change, they become toxic, they become that. Did you adjust to the times that you saw yourself? Then also I want men who pick up their wives from Nigeria to abroad to get them to study, to ask themselves deep within, what is the intention? Why am I carrying this woman to the US to study to become a nurse? Am I going to have a slave and master relationship? Because we know that when we train our children in school, we do not expect them to give us their pay packets. So you must ask yourself, what is the intention behind this? Do I want somebody to come here to be working for me, or do I want us to empower ourselves? That means you would have an opportunity to also work yourself. You have the capacity to go and study to become a nurse. There are male nurses, so it's not like it's only women that are supposed to be nurses. So if he's becoming a nurse, I'm becoming a nurse, or I take my time, go to school, you do the nursing, another person does the work, we change. You must spell out how you want it to run. And there's something I learned recently. You must share the money before the money comes. In relationships, in marriages, we must begin to share this money before the money finally lands. So how do we contribute to the household? Are you bringing 50? Are you bringing 70? Am I expecting you to bring my pay packet? And if that's how your own dynamic wants to work and the woman is okay with, I will hand over my pay packet, is not a problem. You are the head of the house. You must have that conversation from the beginning before the money finally comes, so that one person is not saying, you just want to use me here to work and I'm not gaining anything.
Let me take this call from London. Yomi, are you there? Thanks for calling.
Yes,
you're live.
I'm a first caller.
Welcome to the show.
I've been watching this your program every time.
Thank you.
And it's so interesting, you know.
Okay.
And people from the students that come on this Japa visa, they did not, they don't understand how this country is. London is a very stressful country. It is not the same as Nigeria at all. Both the man and the woman, everything you do is based on 50-50. But then once you are in this country, it is not that the woman will look onto the man that, as we are in Nigeria, whereby probably it is the husband that is spending, that is paying the house rent, or that is doing all those things, and that the woman will just be working and be using the money just to do whatever she wants, to settle probably little things. It's not the same as UK. You know, all the bills just comes at once, and if the husband has to settle it, you will have nothing left. So therefore, the share is for the students that are coming now. They did not understand. And this very country is, in Yoruba language, they call it Ilubiore, whereby if the man does not behave himself, they will send him out of the house for the woman to leave.
Thank you very much, Jimmy. You know how when you go to a new company, there's something called onboarding. You know? Like there's really no Nigerian community. Well, maybe they do have it now, because I know back then you just come in, and when you come with the mentality that I don't want to go into a Nigerian community, I want to find a white community and stay there and just be. I don't want to see Nigerians. I've been with Nigerians all my life. But then you find out that when you hit the rocks, you need a community that can show as a buffer for you, that understands your background. So sometimes maybe we need to start some kind of onboarding organization with Nigerians, that where as you're entering, there's a group that is available to help you understand the laws of the land, what you can do, how you can structure your home, because the collapse of marriages because of Japa is getting more and more prevalent, and it's something that's worth discussing. But let me come in. I'm told our celebrity guest is here, so hopefully she can join the conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
In my family, everybody wants more.
More knowledge.
I'm home. I just want more of anything that is good for my family. That is why I use Tasty Tom Enriched Tomato Mix. It's thick and gives my meals an appealing red color. It helps me cook delicious meals. And what's more, it's enriched with vitamins and fiber that are good for the body. What more could a mother want?
Please give me more.
Mommy, I want more.
It's time you try Tasty Tom Enriched Tomato Mix, because it's enriched with vitamins and fiber. Tasty Tom, for tasty meals good for you. Available in convenient sachets that are easy to open and easy to store.
Need the new Hardship sachets. It has a thick formula, so all you need is just one sachet for your toilet bowl. It gives 10 times better cleaning and big savings too.
Wow, Helen!
Sparkling clean toilet with Hardship sachet.
This blessing be yours, forever to keep a calm and peaceful sleep.
Removes mosquitoes, so you can sleep a calm and peaceful sleep. Good night, Electric.
For an exclusive 3x skin effect, try Nivea Men Deep powered by black carbon. For 48-hour deep moisture, a fresh skin feel, and a long-lasting masculine fragrance, make an impact with Nivea Men Deep Impact Body Lotion. Try Nivea Men Deep Roll-On for 48-hour antibacterial sweat protection.
Can you do this?
No wahala.
How about this?
A superhero? One and only.
One and only JJ is JJ. One and only JJ.
Thanks for staying with us. So our guest is an actress, filmmaker, singer, TV personality, and entrepreneur. She's a multiple award-winning actress who is well known for acting in Yoruba indigenous movies. Welcome with us, Dayo, Amusa in the building.
Yo, yo, yo.
How you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
I love you. You look really nice.
Thank you.
This morning.
Thank you.
All right, so we'll be discussing about your movie a bit later. But before you came, we're just discussing this Jackpot dynamics and the fact that when people live in Nigeria and they decide to go abroad, we've seen a lot of homes break up recently, especially because many of them are finding it difficult to adjust to the new system. It's men who have a certain way of doing things in Nigeria, travel abroad, and they have been faced with the fact that their wives might have become the breadwinner because they are nurses and they're making more money, and you are there trying to just make ends meet here and there. What stories have you heard, any relationship that we can learn from where people who have traveled abroad are struggling to stay together?
Well, first and foremost, I would say that this stance is not something so good for any relationship or marriage to start with. And of course, just like you said earlier, a lot of Nigerians are, trying to jackpot, they're trying to relocate, and all based on the situation of things around them, basically. But for me, I think the issue of couples living separately is not a good idea, to be candid, because first and foremost, they kind of have this problem based on trust issue. The fact that you don't really know what the other person is doing out there, and then the whole thing now results to you having to communicate via mobile phone or via text message, which I think in a way it's not so good for couples.
Let's talk about that for a second, because we discussed earlier about people when they actually move. But those who are having to have a structure of long distance, how is that happening? I mean, I know somebody who recently was telling me that, Mariah, it's been tough raising their children when the spouse, sometimes the wife goes ahead, sometimes the husband goes ahead, and then you're forced to have to raise the child alone. And then the child is used to seeing daddy via FaceTime. And that's all they see. And he's raising his children via FaceTime. He's reprimanding his children via FaceTime. The kids are like, yeah, whatever. But how do we learn from that? Is that the new world we must accept? Because the truth is that new things are happening these days and people are adjusting.
Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mariam.
Okay, so long distance marriages and relationships, I really have to commend those people who have done it for many years. I can understand a couple of years, 3 years maybe, I have to go to school or something. But when it's till eternity, I don't know how it's still a marriage. I'm sorry. I don't know how it's truly working. And you know how it is that sometimes the spouse that's away isn't able to come as often. So maybe you find that the spouse hasn't come back in 5 to 8 or 10 years. And I'm like, really? So how? There are so many things that happen in marriage. There are many
faithful.
Yes, that's what I'm going to. There are many things that happen in marriages that we don't discuss here, but we know happens at night. What is happening? What are you telling the woman at home? And is she trusting that you're doing the same? I know that we'll say that society is more forgiving of men when they step out, but very harsh on women. And yet that's a human being that you have left behind, and she has needs as well. So I don't think it's a good idea. I don't know why people have to take that step, but some people have, weathered the storm. They've done 10 years, and then eventually the person has acquired the wealth that they were hoping to go and acquire, or a better life, and then they're able to bring them in. But we have also heard that because of that long time period away from each other, it's like relearning this person all over again, knowing and understanding this person. You left when we were in our late 20s. Now we're in our 40s or heading into our 50s, and I'm meeting you again, and there's so many things I've had to adjust the way I've lived my life, my lifestyle, that's so different, that did not include you being physically there all the time, and now I have to, marry and compromise. Many people don't even make it after they've even come in together because they realize they're two different people. And they've lived their life separately for too long.
So I think when you get into marriage with the mindset of we are a team, and together we can face the world, some things are easier for you to handle. It doesn't mean the challenges won't come or it won't be there, but the mindset of we are going to go through this together also helps you to become flexible per time, flexible per the challenges that come your way. Sometimes we think people just choose to have a distant relationship, but it could be a job. You could be married to a soldier who has to go to war, and he's away, and you see him once in 2 years, once in 3 years, but that's the job, that's his calling. There's nothing you can do about it. You would have to stay, make it work. In first time, you can correct your children and you enforce it back home. After he's dropped the instructions for them, you follow through back home. You just have to find a way to hold each other up. When this one is not here, I am here. When I got married, I'm a lovey-dovey, touchy, together kind of person. But then the job and traffic in Lagos had to make us separate for over 8 years. But we had to find a way. Sometimes, some weekends that I expect that he will be coming back home, he's not able to make it. The first few years, my little baby could not recognize him as the father of the house. We had to just make do. So when I'm feeling the gap, I feel it to the best of my ability, because I understand that this just had to happen till we now came back together again. And when we came back together, like what Miriam said is very right, you have to relearn again. I had to start getting used to the fact that, okay, the man is now around. The person that will check the generator has now come. Let me relax. So that
how long is too long? Because some people will say, 2 years. Some will say 10 years.
I did 8 years.
So you did every weekend.
Not all the time. But since he was in Nigeria, it is also for. So you will, sorry, darling, you will explain it after it's in Nigeria. After it's in, even if he was abroad, would I have left him? No. I am there to make it work, and we find a way.
Let's jump in. But it is understandable if you understand, and then you both have an agreement on what needs to be done. Yeah, it's understandable. But the truth of the matter is, distance is not something that that one should even probably think of infusing in marriages. No,
Okay.
I disagree. Because, okay, now, let's look at it from this angle. From the emotional aspects, okay? Everybody have this need of closure, the connection, communication. The way you communicate via mobile phone, you cannot relate it with the way you communicate physically. We are having an argument. The way we deal with it when it's face to face, you cannot compare it with when you have to go over, talk it over FaceTime or like you're so right.
Let me pause you for a second, because there's that one thing you said triggered something in my mind. But let me quickly take this call. Good morning, are you there? I think I have Mary from Abuja. You're live.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm really enjoying your program.
Thank you, madam.
Well done. The issue of couples staying apart is a very difficult one. I don't support it because I've gone through it for some years now. And it has been a very difficult one.
How many years, Mero?
Yeah, waiting to 10 years now.
10 years?
Yes.
Is Nigeria, where does he live? Nigeria or abroad?
Nigeria here.
Oh.
And then I have children to raise alone without the father not always being around. So it's been a very difficult one. And just like your guest speaker is saying, there are some things that you can say physically that may be more understandable than talking through the phone.
Yeah, true.
And then having children that keep asking you, where is our dad? And then you're the one to plan your studies, activities here, activities there. Everything is on your head. It's a very difficult task training children.
Thank you, Mero. You see, I was going to come to the burden of choosing between my emotional need and a broken home. Because a lot of women are having to choose that, let me just manage it. I have this need, valid need, but I will sacrifice that need. Mero, like, I will sacrifice my desire, that need for companion, the need for emotional connection. But I am willing to sacrifice it, but you don't even know how long the time is. Yeah. So my question is, how long am I willing to sacrifice?
Especially in this judgmental society that we are in, if it was a guy, they believe it's okay to step out, right? But if it was a lady, you know, they feel like you're cheating and all that.
Yes.
But then, just like I said earlier on, everybody have this need that needs to be met by their partner. So in such cases, okay, you said you had to manage through for 8 years. Okay, probably maybe you're lucky to be able to handle it. There are a lot of women out there that find themselves in this kind of situation that they can't even last 1-2 years. Body is different. The way we respond even to our sexual needs is totally different. So in that
I really appreciate you for saying it the way it is, because we tend to believe that, oh, women, you know, we have this conversation sometimes behind the scene here with some of the production people, and they're like, no, women are wired differently. I say, so really? No, like, so women don't have that. The bodies are angels. When everywhere they go to, the body just shuts down. Let's be realistic. And BC, you mentioned it earlier. You said different people have their own love language. They have their personalities. They have their what connects them. If you are one of those that can do well with separation, good for you. But you, as a partner, you must have that conversation, and you must be your eyes must be open to the fact that you might be married to someone who cannot survive it. Don't be blind, or don't be ignorant. Don't form like, oh, she will do well, but you know your wife. You know your wife is always touching you every 2 days. You now want her to go to stay in the UK for 1 year and you know each other. You already know.
Okay, or someone that is so used to this. Okay, you said you initially at the early stage of your marriage.
Early stage till now.
No, that touchy thing. Yeah. Okay, so when you get used to that fact that okay, I have to cuddle someone before going to bed.
Adjusting. Let me pause. I want to hear your thoughts, but let me take this call. Been holding for a minute. Hello, are you there?
Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, Moreyo, good morning. I just want to say something that the first call mentioned.
Yeah.
The first call, that is Hazard. Illicit. Living abroad is very sweet and very nice.
Yeah,
I have been traveling frequently for past 15 years now. And I find out that if you're moving with your family, you need to adjust some packaging.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm not bringing from myself the way my mother trained me, I can train pampers, I can wash my wife's clothes, I can do anything at home. If I'm not bringing the way I'm training myself and the way my mother put me through. And secondly, for past 8 or 7 years now, my mind is telling me or regretting why I didn't live in abroad. Let me shock you. There is no security in Nigeria and Africa at large. Moreover, you wake up one morning, you and Tope and Obi, you find out that the station has gone down. All things that you keep there has gone down. So tell everybody there that living abroad is good thing that you can be able to do for yourself. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Carlo. So he's been in the 18 years and he's been willing to go back and forth.
So I had a question I wanted to ask you people. So don't get me wrong. It's not like I'm advocating for long distance relationship. But the point is, we don't plan for some of these things. It can happen to you in that marriage. Do you pack up the marriage because I cannot stay without being touched for 2 years or 3 years? Or you would look at the long-term goal, which is we had come together and agreed to have a family, to raise these children. If anything happens and somebody has to step out, I will fill in the gap and we hold that space till the person comes back. That's what I'm trying to say. Me, I love to be with you 24 hours, right? But I know that it can happen in a situation, except of course you don't want success, except of course you don't want to grow in your business, except you just want to be in that small cocoon. And if that's okay with you and your partner, that's fine. But if you want to grow, things will happen. Even if you don't want to grow, challenges can come that one person is taking away from you. What do? You pack up the marriage, you enter another one. 2 years again, something happens. You pack up that one, enter another one. The reason we have some of these things available to us that we can use to help ourselves when somebody is not there to help us is to keep us there. Go and learn how to use it and help yourself. I mentioned hugging pillow. I don't want to call the other ones. It can help you for the time
technology.
Yeah, for the time being. See,
let me come to go ahead there.
Okay, what I'm trying to say is that, like I said, I do not disagree with the fact that maybe circumstances can come up or change that could warrant you having, that distance. But I'm actually looking at the effects of that on the kids, on the husband, and on the family in general.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are different ways. Now, let me come to you. You have comments on social media too?
Not yet. Yeah, so I was going to say that, of course, life happens, and you make preparations or you make adjustments for life. And like I said earlier, I said sometimes you can even take when you have a conversation, you can say, okay, 2 to 3 years, I'm going abroad, I need to go and study, I just got a job, I need to go there and settle down. But when it's in perpetuity, when there's no end date or end plan, whether we like it or not, there are negative implications of being away from your family and your spouse for a protracted period, and you're not even visiting at all. There's a difference between someone who's away and comes home twice a year. There's a difference between the one that comes home once every 5 years. There's the difference between that one and the one that hasn't shown up in 15 years. Sure. There's a difference between the one who's away but is constantly in touch, and one who's away and you hardly ever hear from him. You have to call the neighbors and the neighbors and the neighbors before they get him, and you say, oh, I'm so busy. And so the emotional needs of those categories of people will be different. And it's not saying that we should give up. We're saying when you make these decisions for your family and about your family, at what cost? Are you looking at that as well? Sometimes you will ask, the cost of me being away for so long, and then it might negatively impact my family. Is it worth it? Or do I look for this better, this growth, this development, this wealth, this riches? Can we now figure a way how we can do it locally, all together, abroad, whether if we start even much smaller than if I had gone alone? So these are the things you have to discuss. And of course, your personalities and what you can take and what you cannot take.
Fantastic. Let me take this caller. Good morning. Are you there?
Yeah,
please go ahead.
I think I want to say something here. I think what you guys are saying, I think is an interesting one. Then when you talk about me, you talk about myself. I love traveling.
It's a bit muffled, but go ahead.
I love traveling, but before this out, you like sort of adventure. Of moves, we have got to look at people. So when you're thinking people home, you're not thinking that you're home. I understand the environment that you saw.
William, we can't hear you it's quite muffled. So sorry about that. We have
to say something. You mentioned it, but I'll say it it's a Yoruba quote. Like if I'm holding on for too long, I can, if Dr. Nnamdi has said it before that many women can marry you the way you are. but they don't want you to stay the way you are. I can cope with the fact that based on life's decision, like things we didn't plan happened, but there must be an end inside. There must be what will be the result. So it is that there's nothing to look forward to. There is no hope. It is a limitless, like, what, I don't have a decision to make. That is it. So the conversation here is, let us, whatever decision, whether you want to stay in Nigeria, one person will go, both of you will go, sit down and let it be a family discussion. Of course. Tough conversations need to be had. Scenario buildings need to take place. What will happen if this happens? How do we resolve if this happens? Have those conversations, and then we can probably have more united fronts, even wherever we find ourselves as a happy marriage.
We have to wrap up on this, but let me let Dayo. Yeah,
okay. Talking from a personal experience, I had a personal experience based on this. Okay, it was a relationship of like 4 to 5 years. It was a distance relationship, but eventually it didn't work. Okay, like I said earlier, the issue of trust issue, tripping in and then stuff like that. For me, I feel if you have to, relocate the jackpot thinking, probably you should all agree as a family to relocate together as a family. Then by so doing, it might really, but the wife staying in Nigeria, the husband out there, the kids, it kind of, creates a kind of division.
Sometimes afford to sometimes together at the same time.
But, even in the cases of whereby you maybe one could, in my own case, then I could travel. Okay. So I more like I travel like every 3 months, just because he can come in. But I can go anywhere. But it's quite expensive having to manage such situation.
But interestingly, when it's flipped where the woman is abroad with the kids and the man is one going back and forth, people find it easier. They don't see that long distance. But the women even like the break because the husband goes to Nigeria, all his Niger nuances.
He's still
all this Niger, they have to break, you cook this, you have to do that. Let him carry himself to Nigeria, beg.
You know why that one is even more dangerous, because what I hear is that because Nigeria is a more accepting culture of men can have extra wives. So if we are there in the UK hearing all sorts of this and complaining, you will not get much sympathy from those at home. They'll be like, oh, it's a man. But if it was abroad, you hear people likely to say, look for money and go and join him there. But if it's the other way around, they'll be like, just let's
So we have to wrap up on this because I know I have to go to your interview. But I think we've discussed 2 scenarios. One, you take your family abroad, the dynamics have changed, both of you are having difficulty adjusting. And to resolve that, we're still hoping that Nigerians have more onboarding structures where when families come to Canada, to Australia, to Nigeria, to America, there's some kind of a system that helps them to understand the new environment they're in, how they can restructure their home so that everybody's happy. That's really critical for people to go in. Then for those who are having to have long distance, there's got to be an end in sight. There's going to be a start. I mean, ma'am mentioned that in Nigeria, 3 years abandonment is
yes.
There's a 3-year law. And once you've been abandoned for 3 years, you can actually leave. But these are conversations we have, like how long is too long? Can I do 4 years, 5 years? Can we plan 10 years of just in case things fall apart? After 10 years, can I go my own way? There's got to be that conversation where it is clear. On what the plans are. So some people like Mero, I don't have to just keep waiting. My own husband is even in Nigeria. I don't know how that's working. Maybe your wife is in one state, you have to work in another state. It's difficult. I don't know how that happens.
I have tweet.
Solomon. You're all living with him now.
Did you go to the place? Which Solomon?
I don't know. Solomon has so many concubines.
So many social media. Let's take up.
Anything?
Yes. Bill Kidd says no one can tell you how it feels except the person in the situation.
Yeah. Sure.
I think we're undermining the fact that marriage is about companionship. We shouldn't even be having this conversation ideally, but we have normalized separation of the family unit, and it's sad.
Any other one? That's it.
Queen B says people are wired differently. I can comfortably stay for 3 to 5 years without seeing my husband, and I will never cheat on him. As far as being apart is for the good of the family, and we both agree it's okay.
So there are women like that. Frederick says Japa as a family is okay, but Japa with one spouse is delicate in a situation where he or she can come into Nigeria or he or she can't go out. The question is for how long that is going to play out. As Mariah said, how long is too long?
Okay, I think we'll wrap up on that. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll now delve into what Dayo Amusa is doing. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table.
Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome pioneer Positive Force member, dancing queen of the 80s, non-conformist, Afrobeat historian in her right, and long-standing member of the multiple award-winning all-female show Your View, Omoyeni, Yeni, Anikulapo Kuti, aka YK Power! Ginger, today we'll go here.
Thanks for staying with us. So we still have our celebrity guest in the building, Dayo Amusa. How you doing?
Fine, thank you.
Good to have you. So we know you have a new movie coming out. Tell us about it and what you've been working on.
Okay, that's Omoniyo.
Omoniyo, yes.
Which means children are as precious as coral beds. Yes,
so sweet.
It's a story that has to do with a young girl who was being molested by a stepfather, and it's a girl child story featuring myself, Shegu Arinze, Bimbo Akitola, Abibo, and someone.
You got the big names.
Yeah.
So is this something to do, is this a story that already exists maybe in Yoruba folklore, or is this something you just created on your own? Because I love the title.
It wasn't my creation. The story was based on situations that are happening around. Okay. Like I said, it has to do with a prince who molested a 13-year-old stepdaughter. Okay. And then the mother, in her own case, feels like, probably because she has tried 2 marriages before the prince, she feels like, oh, this is my last bus stop to receive by joy. You know, you can't come here and start telling me prince is doing this, prince is doing that. And then for parents, mothers, guardians who kind of don't have this listening here when it comes to their kids, be it the boy or the girl, because in both cases they get molested. Yes, you know, it's not just the girl out there. So for parents, some parents, they don't even have that patience to even listen to their kids when they want to approach them. You know, they'll be like, oh, when I get back later in the evening, we'll talk about it.
And when it's a Yoruba movie?
Yes, it is.
Nice. So what is the lesson for parents here? Because I understand, I know on this table we've tried to talk about parents who would see an abuse happening, especially mothers, and cover it up because they don't want to break their home. What is that lesson you want society to learn from this?
The major lesson I want both parents and guardians to learn from this is that at any point in time your kids try to approach you for whatever, at least give that listening here. You never can tell, you know, what he or she is trying to put out to you, or the risk at which he or she is facing, and then she feels like, you know, you need to create a kind of atmosphere, you know, whereby your kids are free and confident enough to reach out to you and communicate with you over anything and everything.
I love movies that are just, because we tend to just like doing comedy, everybody should just laugh, and you know, or Roasi, those kind of things. You're not going to do those kind of things. But I love the fact that you're doing a movie that deals with a societal challenge, you know, giving a platform to have tough conversations. But putting together a movie in Nigeria is not child's play, I know. And I'd like to share, you've been in the industry for a long time. What are the challenges that you feel by now you should have outgrown? That you feel that this thing, that you should have left as an industry, that you should have left behind when it comes to making movies, producing movies?
First, okay, now we have a whole lot of good producers out there putting out great contents. And I think the inability to kind of have their movies, you know, being put in some particular platform is one major challenge we're having, which I feel like if we're able to, you know, rectify these problems, it will do well for the producers, even for the audience that are, you know, that are to see the content. So I feel that is a major challenge for us.
The platform. So this movie is on cinemas or on YouTube?
Yeah, it was in cinemas. It was this movie I shot a few years ago. It was in cinemas. Then I had to, you know, chill for a while, trying to put it up on some silent platform. But after a while, I just felt like rather than keeping this project in there, even if it is just 10,000 people that is able to see this, I'm sure I'm passing a message to someone.
It's on YouTube now?
Yes, it was.
Oh, fantastic.
So that's the part of the challenge. People are now releasing their movies to just be,
you know, when you shoot a movie to a cinema standard and then unfortunately you're unable to put it on the right platform in which you feel it should be, and where you can as well make, you know, have revenue from what you invested. But then,
sorry to just ask, I'm curious, what do you think is the reason why you would have, like, you've put in so much money, effort, and you're unable to get it on the big screen? What do you think is lacking? Is it we need more space, like more big screens or more companies to help in marketing? Or do you think that there's just some sort of content that maybe the industry is not looking to and wanting to push? You know, is it maybe they may not see it as marketable? Or do you just think that the industry needs to be more creative in bringing in newer stories and newer producers and productions on the big screen?
Well, like I said earlier, we have very good producers out there putting out good content.
Yes.
I think probably maybe the fact that maybe some people don't really have or know whom to approach.
Okay.
Basically, or better still, okay, in some case, okay, like now with Ebonyi, like I said, I tried putting up on some platform, but then I was like, oh, you have to go through this, you have to go through that, and then, okay, this is not coming in from this platform, so therefore,
so there's like a click. Yeah, trying not to
say.
I don't want to word because this also has expressed this same challenge, and it's a major challenge.
It is.
I mean, but we need to create our own platforms too. Yeah. I mean, everybody just wants international platforms. You know, we're looking for the big names. But I think, I mean, many people also are trying to see what we can do to have an African platform where people can actually have these kind of movies.
Provide the content.
Maybe okay, like Netflix now. We have Netflix in Nigeria, but it is not solely an African platform.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe if we can have a platform that can actually project African movies fully, maybe that would be of help to wonderful producers out there putting out content.
So, okay, what I see there is just that there's a lot of middlemen. There's this bridge. So some of these big platforms don't want to liaise directly with the producers. You have to go through an agency to be able to move your movies, and the agencies will now pick from the people that they feel they know without giving that. That's why I said, because I go on platforms like I don't want to mention their names, and I see some movies and I'm like, how did this get here?
The decoders.
So it's a huge problem that I think, like she just rightly mentioned, we need to start building or creating our own platforms. But the creating platform is not beans now.
It's high time we tell our own stories in our own way, and then we kind of project what we stand for as Africans out there. Like I said, there are middlemen, there are agencies, you know, standing between these big platforms and we producers.
Yeah.
And then some of these agencies kind of feel, oh, okay, your movie is coming to the cinema, it's not coming through me. I mean, it's not coming through us. Okay, you're coming. They might not really block it. They might just see it as something they don't really want to pay so much attention to because it's not coming from their own platform.
Let's talk about this.
It's not an agreement.
Let's talk about using actors. How are you getting your actors? You know, many people are looking to the older guys, those who have been there, the veterans. You know, they're bringing them back into a lot of the movies. Do you feel comfortable going back to using veterans, or are you one of those who are looking to get new, fresh actors into the screens?
Well, usually over the years, I'm one person that when I'm doing a movie, I try as much as possible to make use of one upcoming artist. Like, I just give you that platform. Is a must. I must find a fresh face. But then I don't rule out the fact that of bringing in back our old veterans. Of course, your script will definitely determine the kind of cast you want to infuse into your movies. And if someone who has been on the screen for like 30 years is who fits in, definitely I would approach him. Wow.
So what are your plans, future plans going forward? I mean, Ebonyi is now on YouTube. Yeah, are you still going to be producing? Do you plan to produce English movies, Pidgin? Are you still going to stick to Yoruba?
No, well, I do both Yoruba and English. Okay, Pathetic isn't Yoruba.
Oh, nice.
That Which Binds Us isn't Yoruba.
Oh, fantastic.
Okay, so I kind of, yes, I produce some English movies and then Yoruba, but probably maybe because I started up with the Yoruba sector of Nollywood and I'm more...
So tell us do you want to collaborate with producers who would join hands with you and do big? So what I see is there are a lot of independent producers. If you look around, everybody's doing, Tobe is doing, Mioria is doing, Miriam is doing, BC is doing, Nima is doing, one, and there's no coming together, there's no pulling forces together, because if you pull forces together, you would actually reach the top faster. But have you tried to collaborate before? Has it worked? Do you have any plans to collaborate? Are you afraid of collaboration?
Okay, I haven't collaborated with anybody, but I intend to do that.
Okay.
Because filming is something I really love doing, and I don't see myself, even if I'm not going to be acting as an actor, but I don't see myself backing out of filming production in general.
Okay.
So definitely I'm actually looking at collaborating with other producers so that we can come together and then put out something good out there.
So it also says you're a singer. Yeah, everything.
I guess I'm an entertainer.
You're multi-talented, as they say. So tell me, what was it? I just would like to know, like, growing up, what were the things that you had in you or you saw in you that directed you to where you are today?
Okay, growing up, aside the norms of going to school and all that, I realized that, okay, at my very tender age, sometimes I might just be in the house, and then, those days whereby you have this cassette, this rolling cassette and stuff, kind of play and then try to record things I say and things I do in the house. I can be very, very playful. Okay. So I think I just have that thing within me. I just like to entertain people. I like to crack jokes. I like to play. And then growing up, I feel like, even when I wanted to, like, from my secondary school days, when I were like, you have to choose between science, art, and commercial, my mom were like, science, Nikushi.
Everybody science. Let's talk about your twin sister,
Twin?
Yeah, I was told that you have a twin sister. Unless you have a twin sister. Please tell her you don't have a twin sister.
I don't have a twin sister.
Imagine that. I thought online that Amusa has a twin sister.
No.
Imagine, rumors are flying around.
I guess someone that looked a particular picture that was photoshopped. Myself and someone.
Imagine,
it was photoshopped, but I'm not twins.
Imagine that.
I want to ask you about
I have not asked her normal question. That's because I was going to do twin sister first. What the other question?
I want to ask you about skits. We're in a new world now, where anybody can, with a phone, be acting and making a lot of money in the social media space. Are you interested in going into exploring that option as a way to generate revenue as an influencer?
Yeah, I could. As a matter of fact, there is this character I'm building up on. We're going on location in like 3 weeks' time. It's a local Ijebu lady. Which I'm trying to build up. build that character basically for more series and all.
Okay,
channel.
that's good. That's
your
good.
question, your
epic
question.
I always like to have a relationship.
With the husband. Who is the one? What's going on?
Is he abroad or is in Nigeria? Well, I might be a public figure, but I'm one person that kind of keep my private life private.
We have to make that out.
So I just like it.
Don't tell us. Don't tell me. Just tell. Is there one?
There?
Oh, it's not there.
Oh, definitely there will be one. Me, I can't afford not to be.
There has to be somebody servicing this matter.
Someone has to be there. Like, I like that connection, the relation.
So, do you like them tall or short or middle height?
I like fine guys.
I like them having
No. The thing is, I have to be connected. Like there has to be connection. Even if you have the money, though, of course, you have money. Now, when you see me like these people, they struggle for street like as a young girl, and then you not be like, oh, you want to have. Of course, you should be able to take care of your immediate
short, handsome people. Let me ask the question again: is he tall, middle height, or is he short?
An average guy is okay.
Average height. You like them coffee or cornbread? No. You cannot guy that have plenty money. What belly shows money?
Mommy knows someone. Maybe that's why she's asking.
But he cares for you well. Obviously, you're glowing. Does he care for you well?
He does.
Yeah, fantastic. I'm so
happy.
I want to make sure that our Amusa is well taken care of. Nigerian men these days don't know how to service men.
Don't say that.
They're not service show. Some men, we've talked about this on this show. Nigerian men don't. Many of them don't.
Most of Nigerian men are not romantic.
Yes, they are not.
They don't say they are not.
Yes,
but you have to hold him very, very well.
Hold him tight. It's just romantic.
He's good. He's good. Romantic. He's supportive.
What can I see? The smile on your face.
I love him already. So I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
It's always good to have a companion. It doesn't have to be marriage all the time, but it's good to have a good relationship, mature relationship with somebody. We'd love you to end the marriage. I'm happy that you're happy.
What's your YouTube channel so that if you want to watch the
Amusa TV?
Amusa TV. Oh, fantastic. Congratulations again.
Take a look.
When is your birthday?
July 20.
Counts down. So, Gash, you do something. Come.
Why not? I'm too much of you. I'm not really someone that throws birthday parties and all, but then
you have to learn to be throwing.
All right, that's all we can take on today's show. Today is Tokwa's birthday. Hopefully, she'll be doing something. Happy birthday. Have a lovely, enjoyable day. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you Monday. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.